Bernard, it's so cold.
Yeah,
好冷啊。
Oh, 就是冷死了。
冷死了。对。
Except I have something that warms my heart.
Ooh,
Today
what's
is
that?
Qixi.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Chinese Valentine's Day. We should celebrate.
We should.
Yeah. Do you know much about the history of Qixi?
I do, actually.
Oh,
So
tell me about
Qixi
it.
is a Chinese festival. It's based on a story, a romantic story from a very, very long time ago, 2,600 years in fact.
Wow.
The story is about a cow herder who falls in love with a goddess from heaven. She was a weaver girl who came down and he manages to convince her to marry him. So he must have been quite handsome, I think. Right? And what happens is they have two children.
Very
They live
good.
happily ever after until, of course, the king of heaven decides that he has no interest in this marriage whatsoever. He sends his forces down to earth and absconds with his daughter, the goddess. And the cowherder is so upset by this, he's very sad obviously, that he manages to convince a cow that he has to carry him up into the heavens to go and rescue his would-be wife. However, the wife of the king of the gods, so the queen mother, decides that she doesn't want any part of this at all either. So she takes her hairpin out and then rends an entire gash across the sky, creating a river, which we now know as the Milky Way.
Wow,
right?
that's
And
amazing.
so the two are forever divided, and they're represented by two stars, one Altair on one side and the other Vega on the other. However, the Jade Emperor was eventually calmed from his anger, and he decided that on one day a year, the 7th day of the 7th month, also known as Qixi, that they could be together. So he summoned all of the magpies from all across the world, and they all fly up into the heavens, and then they create a bridge that goes across the Milky Way. So on this one day of the year, the cowherder and the weaver girl can be together.
Wow, Bernard, that is impressive how much you know about Qixi.
Oh yeah.
Wow, what are some of the other interesting facts that you know about Qixi? I know a few.
Oh, well, why don't you tell us?
Okay, for example, Qixi falls on the 7th day of the 7th month. So it's also called the Double Seven Festival because it's based on the lunar calendar, which translates into the August period around for this festival.
There's also quite a few activities that people do during Qixi. For example, one of the main ones is the stargazing. So often Qixi festivals are held late into the evening so that you can look up at the sky and you can see the two stars in the sky. Now, fortunately, we're in Melbourne, which means that it could rain. But if it rains, that's actually a sign of good luck during the Qixi festival.
Oh yeah, that's
because
right.
it's
for
meant
the
to
Chinese.
represent the tears of both the cowherder and the weaver girl on all the days that
But-
they couldn't be together.
But I have to add though, this story is 2,600 years ago. So during that time, China was in war. So there's so it represents a lot of hope to the Chinese people. And so it symbolizes reunion, it symbolizes love. It gives so much hope to the people that they're gonna see their loved ones again. So it is truly like a day where people really pray for their loved ones and see their loved ones, and it's a celebration of love.
Also, there are lots of activities that people do. So it's tradition for girls who want to get married or girls who have recently been married to give offerings to the weaver goddess in order to either sanctify their marriage and make it, prosperous, or to find them a husband. Right? And in China, it's very common for matchmaking of mother-in-laws and mothers to do a lot of matchmaking at this point in time.
Yes, absolutely. In China, there's a lot of markets where parents actually go and try to matchmake their sons and their daughters, and now it's actually become such a tradition where people are hiring buses to do matchmaking games for the youngsters, and so there's a lot of activities that's being done, and it is such a beautiful festival to be celebrated. It's one of the most romantic festivals to be celebrated in China and across. But obviously China is not the only place that celebrates
Qixi is celebrated in a lot of places. It's celebrated in Japan and it's celebrated in Korea. And while their stories are not quite the same, they're pretty much the same. In fact, the Qixi story varies on which province in China you hear it because all of them have their own versions.
Oh, really?
I've just chosen one that's sort of an amalgam of a lot of them.
That is interesting. The tradition behind Chinese Valentine's Day is not just, it's of myth, it's of fairy tale, it's of magic, it's of astrology, it's also of numerology. It's very, very interesting how the ancient Chinese can come up with something so magical as this. And we feel like this will be a very great representation to be given to Melbourne and Australia as the first, Qixi festival to be done here in Australia.
So we hope that you all have fun today at the Qixi festival. There's lots of things to do, lots of activities throughout the day, live music and other things.
对，
对，好棒啊！
希望你们可以过一个很愉快的一天啊、七夕快乐，
七夕快乐。
谢谢。